Beautiful day today. It's about, I would say, 66 degrees maybe. The bike says it's 73. This is what we call the January thaw. Typical nice weather for January. As I'm riding through the parking lot here, I'd like to do a shout out to my Aunt Margie and my Uncle George. Also a shout out to my Aunt Bertha, my Uncle John, his wife Marcia, my Uncle Fred, and his wife Janet. Hello! Can't wait to meet you all and hang out together. What a great day. I feel on cloud nine. I feel like I'm on cloud nine still. Absolutely awesome. So I'm trying to think of stories about my dad to share with you. I know that he would have been happy to meet you. It would have been very teary and awesome once he got over the initial wariness and establishing, you know, if we really are compatible, whatever kind of thing. Of course we are, we're family. But once he was cool with it, man, he would have been absolutely thrilled. He would have loved you guys. Oh, yeah. He definitely would have loved you guys. And he would have appreciated the fact that you actually care. When he was a kid, he went through hell. See, his brother was born 15 years before he was, and then his sister was born 12 years before, so they were already pretty much out of the house by the time he remembered anything. They weren't really part of his life. And his mother, my grandmother, Maddie, she was going through some operations at the hospital for tumors in her legs. So he was left home alone a lot, with not a whole lot of food. His stepfather never had his own kids, so he never really knew how to be a dad. He married this lady with a kid, you know. He was nice enough. He was calm and nice, but he was a drunkard. He used to get trashed and pass out on top of the Christmas tree, which sucked. He told me stories about it near the end of his life, and it always made him cry when he remembered those days. How alone he was. How Christmas was one of the worst times ever, and that's one of the reasons he was such a great father to me, and mostly to my sisters. They could tell you some differentiating stories, but he was awesome with me and my sister Laurie. And he was mostly awesome to them. He did try to give us love, affection, caring. Took us to amusement parks and swimming, and he was always there for us. And he did that mostly because he had never experienced it himself. He was a very tough man. He learned how to street fight on his own and also from his brother Bob, because the kids were beating up on him. He looked German during World War II. That wasn't a good thing in an Italian neighborhood. So he had to fight a lot. And he fought dirty, because that's how you fought back then. There was this kid who was a boxer, and he didn't know how to fight yet, and this boxer kept beating the hell out of him. and he couldn't win. So finally one day he did a flying leap when the kid wasn't looking, put him in a headlock, rammed his head through, you know, those little wooden slats in the backs of the chairs, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4. He rammed his head through those, pulled his chin up so the pointy things that had broken were sticking in the back of the kid's neck. And he just starts pounding and pounding the side of this kid's face until he went limp. And then he knelt down to the kid as he lay on the floor in blood, and he said, "Next time I'll kill you." That was the kind of fighter he was. He'd rip your hair out by the roots and enjoy it, especially if you were Italian and if you had a loud mouth. And if you were Italian with a loud mouth, oh Jesus, he loved those the most. He actually took great joy in beating the shit out of them. I'm not saying he was an angel. Far from it. It wasn't a devil either. It depends on the receiving end of the punches. But like I said, he was a great father to me. Was always there for me. He and my mom divorced when I was 6 months old. He was already separated from her when I was born. And he felt terrible because he realized that a similar thing was happening to me that had happened to him, and he wasn't going to have that. So he was there every single weekend for me. He was always a phone call away. Any problems I had, he was right there. I was his only son. So he's very proud of that fact. In talking to Aunt Margie, hi Aunt Margie, I found out that apparently my dad was pretty much just like Louis, minus the artistic skill. They had a very similar personality, she said. And the things that my dad used to do, apparently Grandpa Louis used to do them too. So that always surprised me there when I found that out. I was very surprised and happy. Because think about it, they never knew each other, and yet he was a clone of his dad and didn't even know it. Kind of like I'm, in a way, a clone of my dad in certain regards. Apple didn't fall far from the tree. My dad was a hard-working man, crane operator for 35 years. Worked in tunnel jobs and building jobs, John Hancock Building, Prudential Building, Museum of Science, the Federal Reserve Building, Tobin Bridge. I mean, he did it all. When you look at the city of Boston skyline, you can thank him for most of it. Him and Bob, Uncle Bob. He was also a crane operator. And they loved each other. And they would have loved you, my family. And I love you too. So there you go. Nothing but love, nothing but love. It feels so awesome to have family and to know that they were looking for us and we were looking for them. It's a dream come true. I feel like I'm in an episode of The Wahlbergs or something. That's awesome. Alright folks, this is Nephew Mike, known on the YouTubes as Mike Cayley 7. And I'll talk to you later.